Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala Nabi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good morning, Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy. And welcome to another episode of Revert Reflections. So, as we prepare to close out our week of segments surrounding the issue of the Islamic position on abortion rights, I wanted to close with this. Now that all signs point to the overturning of Roe versus Wade, pro-choice advocates are already plotting their strategies to defy and circumvent laws to ban abortion, which are expected to be enacted or to take effect in certain states. And this brings to light, brothers and sisters, an important point for Muslims to consider as it relates to all of this. Something that many of us may not, as we basically take sides on the issue, there's a point that many of us may not have considered, and that we should consider. Our non-Muslim fellow Americans are obsessed with freedom. And not just any kind of freedom. Unbridled freedom. The freedom to believe, say, and do whatever makes them happy, even at the expense of the happiness of others. Even if that means abandoning what is morally right, even if that means breaking the law. They are so obsessed with freedom and their personal definitions of freedom that freedom has become like a deity to them. Achieving their own personal idea of freedom is the consideration that trumps all others. Consequently, if they don't like a law, they simply defy it. We saw this on January 6th with the storming of the Capitol. We saw it during COVID with the defying of lockdowns and mask mandates. And we are seeing it now with plans to defy laws banning abortion. What lesson lies in all of this for those of us who are Muslims, those of us who claim to believe in Allah and accept His absolute right to legalize and prohibit? What must we learn from this? We have to learn, brothers and sisters, that deifying freedom erodes our commitment to submit to any law, even God's law, and leads to lawlessness. So when we consider our position on abortion rights and things along these lines in this country, when we don't put Islam front and center in those discussions, much more is at stake than we realize, or than we may realize. See, we think it's just a position. I'm pro-life, I'm pro-choice, it's just a position I'm taking, and there are no implications, there are no ramifications, there are no consequences beyond what? Beyond taking that position. But there's much more at stake when we take these positions on these issues without even thinking about what Islam says, without putting Islam front and center. Brothers and sisters, people don't generally just wake up disbelieving in God. They don't just wake up or become non-practicing after having been practicing Muslims. They just don't wake up. I was practicing yesterday when I went to bed. I made Salat al-Isha, and I wake up and now I'm a non-practicing Muslim. I just wake up non-practicing. I just wake up no longer believing in Allah or believing in Islam. That's generally not the way it happens. Rather, most people gradually step away from faith, internally, externally, or both. Brothers and sisters, when we allow ourselves to adopt opinions about things that contradict Islamic teachings because we are Americans, and we allow ourselves to believe in unbridled freedom the way other Americans do, pretty soon, before we know it, we will be defying our true God in favor of our new God, freedom. May Allah protect us all from taking anyone or anything besides Allah as a deity. Brothers and sisters, this issue and some of the other issues which are part of the landscape of current affairs in this country, issues being kicked around, discussions being had, whether it's related to abortion rights, LGBTQ rights, these discussions and the positions that many Muslims are taking because that's what everybody is saying. That's what feels right. That's what's consistent and in line with freedom. We have to understand that the stakes could not be higher. We have to understand that the stakes are so high, and some of the positions that we're taking are so meaningful beyond what we realize, that they can actually undermine our belief in La ilaha illallah. There is no deity worthy of worship and being deified than Allah. It's something to think about, something to consider, and I hope that we will thoughtfully consider and reflect on what we're doing and ask ourselves, what are we doing? What are we doing? There's no such thing as American Muslims or American Islam. There's only one Islam, and at the heart of that Islam is making Allah the deity. Making Allah the one who decides what we do and what we don't do. Submitting to Him, not submitting to our desires or unbridled freedom, not adopting a deity besides Allah called freedom. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.